My beloved child, Archangel Michael says there is a silence surrounding your home that feels normal on the surface yet heavy in the unseen. There is a smile that appears steady, a voice that sounds calm, and daily routines that move forward without interruption. But beneath that surface, a storm has been growing quietly, patient and dangerous, feeding on what is never spoken. The night air has been carrying thoughts your son does not release, and his heart has been holding weight far beyond his years. He has learned how to look strong because he believes strength means hiding pain. He has convinced himself that endurance is the same as healing, even while his spirit grows tired. Every day he tells himself tomorrow will be easier, and every night he realizes tomorrow arrived unchanged. He does not want to be a burden, so he becomes a performer of wellness. He has mastered the art of appearing fine while feeling fractured inside. This message is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you gently. What he is suffering from is not visible to the eye, yet it is deadly to the soul when ignored. Unseen suffering, when left alone, slowly teaches the heart to give up. Type Amen 333 to receive divine protection and clarity. My beloved child. He wakes up carrying heaviness he cannot explain, and he goes to sleep feeling like he failed another invisible test. The world praises him for surviving, never noticing he is only surviving and not living. Inside him, there is a quiet cry that never reaches his lips. He believes others have it worse, so his pain feels undeserving of attention. He minimizes his wounds because they do not bleed where others can see them. This is how the most dangerous battles remain hidden in plain sight. Your son has been standing at emotional cliffs, smiling so no one notices the drop behind him. He fears disappointing you more than he fears the pain itself. So he carries both, and the weight grows heavier each day. This suffering did not appear overnight. It formed slowly through moments of neglect, misunderstood emotions, and unspoken expectations. It grew each time he felt unseen while being present. Type Amen 444 to call in divine guardianship. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says your awareness at this moment is not accidental. You were meant to feel this unease, this pull to look deeper than appearances. This is the moment where love must become action, not assumption. Your son does not need interrogation, correction, or judgment. He needs safety in your presence, a space where he can lay down the armor he never wanted to wear. He needs to know that being vulnerable will not make him weaker in your eyes. He has been fighting exhaustion that sleep cannot cure. He has been smiling through a mind that rarely rests. He has been breathing while feeling like he is slowly drowning. There are days when he feels disconnected from himself, as if watching life instead of living it. This numbness is not peace, it is protection turned inward. It is the soul's way of surviving too much for too long. Type Amen 555 to activate healing energy. He wonders why joy feels distant even when good things happen. He questions himself silently, believing something is wrong with him. He does not realize that prolonged emotional pain can mute even the brightest feelings. He carries guilt for feeling this way, believing gratitude should erase his suffering. But gratitude cannot heal wounds that were never acknowledged. Silence cannot cure pain that needs compassion. My beloved child. Your son is not broken, and he is not weak. He is overwhelmed by expectations he never learned how to release. He is tired of being strong in isolation. There is a part of him that still hopes someone will notice without him asking. There is a part of him that fears no one ever will. That fear is heavier than the pain itself. Type Amen 777 to invite divine light into your family. This message arrives because the cycle must end here. Not through fear, but through awareness wrapped in love. Not through control, but through presence and patience. You are being asked to look beyond performance and into presence. To listen not just to words, but to energy and silence. To create moments where he does not have to pretend. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says protection surrounds your son even when he feels alone. He has been guarded in moments you will never know about. He has been stopped from falling further than he realizes. But protection is not the same as healing. Healing requires connection, understanding, and gentle truth. Healing begins when someone feels safe enough to be real. There is still time, and there is still hope. His suffering has not reached a point of no return. This awareness is the turning point. Type Amen 888 to strengthen divine intervention. Approach him not as a problem to fix, but as a soul to understand. Let your tone carry warmth instead of worry. Let your presence speak before your words do. Small moments of genuine attention will matter more than grand speeches. Consistency will rebuild what silence weakened. Love expressed calmly will soften what fear hardened. He does not need to explain everything at once. He needs permission to open slowly. He needs to feel that he will still be loved even when the truth is heavy. Remember, the most dangerous suffering is the kind that hides behind strength. Your son learned to survive by pretending. Now he must learn to heal by being seen. Type Amen 999 to seal this message with divine grace. This is not a message of doom, but of divine interruption. A gentle but urgent call to notice what truly matters. A reminder that love sees beyond smiles. Hold him closer without smothering. Listen without rushing to respond. Be present without demanding explanations. The unseen battle loses power when it is no longer fought alone. The deadly weight of silence dissolves in the presence of compassion. And healing begins the moment pretending is no longer required. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. This message ends here, but your role continues with awareness and love. What you do next will matter more than what has already passed. Light has entered this situation, and where light stays, healing follows. My beloved child, the silence around your son did not come from nowhere. It was built layer by layer, moment by moment, when he felt the need to stay composed even while breaking inside. He learned early that being okay made life easier for everyone else. There were times he wanted to speak, yet the words felt too heavy to release. He feared that once spoken, the pain would become real and irreversible. So he swallowed it, believing silence was safer than truth. He laughs at the right moments and nods at the right times. He fulfills responsibilities while slowly disconnecting from himself. This is not peace, it is survival disguised as stability. Type Amen 111 to surround him with divine comfort. He often feels pressure to be the strong one, the reliable one, the one who never causes worry. That role became his identity before he even realized it. Now he does not know how to exist without it. Inside his mind, thoughts circle endlessly, replaying moments he wishes he handled differently. He carries regret quietly, even for things that were never his fault. This constant self-blame drains him more than any visible struggle. He does not hate life, but he is exhausted by it. He does not want to disappear, yet he wants relief from the weight he carries. This confusion is where many suffer in silence. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says your son's spirit is tired, not defeated. There is still a spark within him that wants warmth, connection, and understanding. That spark survives because love has not abandoned him. He feels emotions deeply but expresses them rarely. When he does, they come out softened, filtered, incomplete. He fears intensity will push people away. There are moments when he stares into nothing, feeling detached from time itself. Those moments are not laziness or disrespect. They are signs of an overwhelmed inner world trying to breathe. Type Amen 222 to release emotional heaviness. He may distract himself with routine, screens, or silence. These are coping mechanisms, not solutions. They give temporary relief while the core pain waits patiently. Your son does not need lectures about strength or resilience. He has been resilient longer than anyone realizes. What he needs now is gentleness without conditions. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says do not underestimate the power of calm presence. A quiet moment of genuine care can undo years of emotional tension. Consistency will speak louder than urgency. When you sit beside him without expectations, his nervous system begins to soften. When you listen without interrupting, his heart slowly opens. When you accept his truth, even if it is uncomfortable, healing accelerates. Type Amen 333 to activate divine reassurance. He has felt misunderstood before, and that memory still guards his heart. Trust will not rebuild in one conversation. It will return through patience repeated again and again. There may be days when he pulls away even as you reach out. This is fear protecting him, not rejection. Stay steady without forcing closeness. Your son is learning that he does not have to earn love by performing wellness. He is learning that pain does not make him a burden. He is learning that being seen is safer than being perfect. The unseen battle loses strength each time compassion replaces pressure. The deadly silence weakens when love becomes consistent. This is the path forward, slow but powerful. Type Amen 444 to seal protection over his mind and heart. What he is suffering from thrives in isolation but fades in connection. You are not too late, and this is not hopeless. This continuation exists because healing is already in motion. Stay present, stay patient, stay loving. Light is entering spaces that were once hidden. And where light remains, darkness cannot survive. My beloved child, your son's strength has been praised for so long that it quietly became a cage. He learned that being dependable earned approval, while needing help felt like failure. Over time, he stopped asking and started enduring. He carries responsibilities that were never meant to be carried alone. Even rest feels undeserved to him, as if stopping would expose weakness. This constant self-pressure has slowly drained his inner reserves. There are moments when he feels emotionally empty even while being physically present. This emptiness is not absence of care, but the result of giving too much without receiving understanding. It is the soul's way of conserving what little energy remains. Type Amen 101 to invite renewal and peace. He compares himself silently to others who seem to move forward with ease. This comparison feeds a quiet belief that he is falling behind. He does not see how much effort it takes him just to stand steady. Your son has been surviving on discipline instead of joy. Routine keeps him functional, but it does not make him feel alive. Without emotional nourishment, even success feels hollow. He has learned to suppress emotions quickly, before they inconvenience anyone. Over time, suppressed feelings do not disappear, they settle deeper. What settles too long begins to weigh heavily on the heart. Type Amen 202 to release inner tension. There are days when his body feels heavy without physical cause. This heaviness is the echo of emotional labor carried too quietly. The mind and body are responding to what words never expressed. He does not lack gratitude or faith in life. He lacks a safe outlet for the pain he keeps postponing. Postponed pain always demands attention eventually. You may notice moments when his patience runs thin without clear reason. This is exhaustion speaking, not disrespect. It is the result of holding everything together for too long. Type Amen 303 to restore emotional balance. He wants to be understood without having to explain himself. He longs for connection that does not require performance. He hopes for acceptance that does not change when he reveals weakness. Small acts of reassurance will matter more than dramatic gestures. A calm voice, a steady presence, and consistent care rebuild trust slowly. Healing does not rush, it unfolds when safety is felt. Your willingness to remain steady gives him permission to soften. Your patience teaches him that love does not withdraw under pressure. This lesson alone begins to dismantle the prison he built around himself. Type Amen 404 to strengthen bonds of love. What he is facing did not begin in a single moment, and it will not end in one. Progress will come through repeated compassion and quiet understanding. Each gentle interaction loosens the grip of long-held strain. He is not asking to be saved, only to be seen. Not fixed, only accepted. Not judged, only understood. This part of the journey is about rebuilding from within. About teaching the heart that rest is allowed. About reminding the soul that it does not have to suffer silently anymore. Light continues to move through this situation. What was once hidden is slowly being acknowledged. And with acknowledgement, true healing continues to grow. My beloved child, there comes a subtle shift when your son starts to feel that he no longer has to defend himself. It does not arrive loudly or dramatically, but quietly, like tension easing from the shoulders. This is the moment when healing finds its first real opening. At first, he may not speak much, and that is still progress. Silence feels different when it is no longer forced. It becomes rest instead of withdrawal. You may notice him lingering longer in shared spaces. You may feel his presence soften, even if words remain few. These are signs that trust is slowly returning. Type Amen 606 to anchor safety and calm. As safety grows, emotions he buried may begin to surface. They might come out as sadness, frustration, or sudden quiet reflection. This is not regression, it is release. He is learning that expressing pain does not lead to abandonment. He is discovering that honesty does not make love disappear. Each time he is met with patience, an old fear loosens its grip. There will be moments when he pulls back again. Healing is not linear, and neither is trust. What matters is that you remain steady when old habits resurface. Type Amen 707 to strengthen emotional healing. Your consistency becomes a mirror through which he relearns himself. In your calm presence, he begins to see that he is allowed to exist without proving anything. This realization changes him more deeply than advice ever could. He starts to reconnect with parts of himself he thought were lost. Small interests, quiet joys, and gentle hopes begin to return. These are fragile at first, but they are real. As his inner world stabilizes, his outer strength no longer feels forced. It becomes grounded instead of strained. This is strength rooted in wholeness, not survival. Type Amen 808 to restore inner light. My beloved child, this is how unseen battles truly end. Not through pressure, but through patience sustained over time. Not through fear, but through love that stays. Your son's suffering loses its power as connection replaces isolation. What once felt deadly weakens when it is no longer hidden. This is the quiet victory of compassion. The path ahead is still unfolding, but it is no longer dark. Understanding has taken the place of guessing. Presence has replaced distance. Type Amen 909 to seal peace and protection. This continuation exists to remind you that healing is already happening. Every calm moment, every gentle response, every patient silence matters. And through this steady love, your son is slowly finding his way back to himself. My beloved child, there is a stage in healing where your son begins to breathe more freely without realizing it. The tightness that once lived in his chest loosens little by little. This change is quiet, but it is powerful. He starts waking up with less dread and more neutrality. Neutrality may not seem like joy, but it is a doorway to peace. It is the sign that the inner storm is calming. His mind no longer races as fiercely when the day ends. Thoughts slow down, and rest becomes slightly easier to reach. This is the nervous system learning it is no longer under constant threat. Type Amen 1111 to deepen calm and restoration. You may notice him responding instead of reacting. This shift means he is no longer living purely in defense mode. Awareness is replacing survival. There is less self-criticism echoing in his thoughts. He begins to forgive himself for things he once carried like lifelong failures. Self-compassion starts forming where harsh judgment once lived. He may not speak openly about this progress. Healing often happens inwardly before it is shared outwardly. Respecting this privacy strengthens trust even more. Type Amen 1212 to protect emotional growth. He begins to sense his own needs instead of ignoring them. Rest no longer feels like weakness, but necessity. Boundaries start forming gently, without guilt. This is where his identity begins to shift. He is no longer only the one who endures. He becomes someone who is allowed to feel. Moments of genuine laughter return, unexpected and brief. They may surprise both of you. These moments are proof that life is slowly flowing back in. Type Amen 1313 to awaken joy and balance. The weight he once carried alone no longer defines him. Shared understanding has redistributed that burden. This is how emotional healing stabilizes. You may feel relief mixed with caution. That caution is natural, born from care. Let trust grow without fear of fragility. What once felt like a deadly inner struggle has lost its dominance. It no longer controls his every thought. It no longer shapes his worth. Type Amen 1414 to seal strength and protection. This part of the journey is about maintenance through love. About staying present even when things seem better. About honoring progress without rushing perfection. Your steady presence continues to matter more than you know. Healing remains alive where compassion remains consistent. And in this space, your son continues to rediscover himself, whole, worthy, and no longer alone. My beloved child, there comes a quiet moment when your son begins to trust the flow of life again. Not blindly, not fearlessly, but gently, with caution softened by hope. This trust grows slowly, like light returning after a long night. He starts believing that not every day has to be survived. Some days can simply be lived. This realization eases a pressure he carried without knowing its weight. The future no longer feels like a threat standing in front of him. It becomes something distant, something possible. Fear loosens its grip as uncertainty feels less dangerous. Type Amen 1515 to strengthen inner stability. He begins to imagine moments ahead without immediately bracing himself. This is a sign his nervous system feels safer. The body relaxes when the soul feels supported. He no longer scans every interaction for disappointment. He allows himself to be present without preparing for emotional impact. This presence deepens his connection with those around him. Old habits of overthinking still appear, but they no longer dominate. He notices them without being consumed. Awareness replaces self-judgment. Type Amen 1616 to reinforce peace of mind. He learns that setbacks do not erase progress. A difficult day no longer convinces him that healing has failed. He understands that growth includes pauses, not just forward motion. Your consistent calm continues to guide him. Even when words are few, your steadiness reassures him. Safety has become familiar instead of rare. He begins to trust his own resilience without glorifying struggle. Strength now feels balanced, not forced. He knows he can rest and still be worthy. Type Amen 1717 to anchor confidence and grace. Moments of gratitude surface naturally, without pressure. They feel genuine because they are no longer used to mask pain. They arise from peace rather than obligation. He reconnects with purpose in small, meaningful ways. Not grand plans, but simple intentions. These intentions quietly rebuild his sense of direction. The fear that once felt deadly has lost its authority. It no longer defines his identity. It has become a memory of a season he survived. Type Amen 1818 to seal renewal and protection. This stage is not the end, but it is a turning point. Life no longer feels like something happening to him. It becomes something he participates in again. Your love remains the anchor through every phase. Healing continues where understanding remains alive. And through this trust rediscovered, your son steps forward, steady, supported, and no longer ruled by fear.